Hello and welcome to InVision Irving, your business connection. I'm Jolene DeVito at the headquarters of the Greater Irving Las Colinas Chamber of Commerce. We have some interesting stories and practical advice to share with you today. It's a big makeover for an Irving apartment complex. See what prompted the owner to make the investments. Plus, tips from a Texan who made it big on TV's The Shark Tank. And the company making a difference at an Irving park. But let's begin with our special focus. Some might call Irving a hotspot for jobs. Companies are hiring employees by the hundreds. Forbes magazine took notice. The Dallas-Plano-Irving area maintains its rank at number 6 in the country in the magazine's list of best big cities for jobs. In just a moment, advice you may be able to use to help grow your career while the market's hot. But first, we wanted to learn more about some of the companies hiring. So I paid a visit to Humana just before the opening of its new offices in Irving.
Looking forward to the furniture coming in, getting everything put into place, and getting ready to have the new staff start.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it as well.
What you see at this Irving construction site now is by no means what you'll get in the very near future. This 3-story building on West John Carpenter Freeway will soon be the newest home for Humana RightSource. It's the health insurance provider's new pharmacy support operation.
The increase in Humana membership overall has led to the need to expand the pharmacy operations. So this will be our 3rd location, and we're very happy to be here in Irving.
Which means the sounds of this construction will soon be replaced by the ringing of telephones in a brand new customer service call center.
This is going to be state of the art. I mean, the newest of the new, all of our equipment, all of our workstations, everything's going to be brand new. And it really is a great place to walk into for the employees. Really makes them feel at home and gives them that feeling of ownership, empowerment, and that they truly belong to a great company in Humana.
Humana chose Irving over some major Midwest cities for this expansion. In the end, their decision in large part came down to 3 things: location, location, location.
You know, Irving, from a call center perspective, we have our call center in Phoenix, in Tempe, Arizona. We have in Cincinnati, Ohio. So this really, from a time zone perspective, Irving really puts us on the map across all time zones from a scheduling perspective, really makes us more efficient with scheduling. We know, again, from our LifeSync partner across the way in the parking lot there, we know the talent pool here in Irving. We're excited to get into Irving. And the city has really been, had open arms welcoming us here and has told us that the opportunities are vast with regards to talent pool.
We were looking, number 1, for a different geographic location from which to pull resources, and we were looking for a different time zone, so this is going to give us that. But the primary 2 reasons we have subsidiaries that are already here in Irving, Concentra and LifeSync. So we know a little bit about the city of Irving and all the amenities and nice things that they have to offer. So that was definitely a bonus. And then we also have a large labor pool here for the qualified applicants that we're going to need to fill these positions: pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, customer service representatives, and data entry clerks.
You heard it. Yes, they're hiring. Humana is creating hundreds of new jobs with this expansion. Contractors are preparing these spaces for the successful applicants who rise to the top of the many who have already applied.
We are so excited about it. There are several thousand applicants already applying in our database that are very interested, extremely qualified. It's been a really great turnout so far.
Humana RightSource plans to hire 250 people before its Irving grand opening, and that number is expected to double in the coming years.
There are many companies on the list of those hiring. Among them, global outsourcing and technology services company Aegis Limited. It announced the addition of 5,000 new jobs, 1,800 of which will be right here in Irving. And leading pharmacy benefit manager Prime Therapeutics is adding 200 customer service jobs locally. The reps will answer questions from customers about benefit plans. Prime Therapeutics already has 600 employees in Irving. So that's a look at just a few of the many companies hiring in Irving. But how can you take advantage of this momentum to grow your career? For some advice, we've invited CEO of the Right Choice Group, Beverly Wright, to be our guest. Bev has more than 30 years experience coaching professionals and companies across the country, including some here in Irving. Bev, thank you very much for joining us.
Thrilled to be here.
So coming off of the economy downturn and the tough times we've been through, am I right in assuming that for a long time everyone was just thrilled to have a job, period.
Absolutely.
Is now a good time to start thinking more strategically about your career? Is it time to make a move?
Well, I think that that's an individual decision, but in general, you should always have kind of your plan B. Even if you're working now, you never know with this economy and with the way companies, have their strategy and the globalization, when perhaps your job is going to be eliminated or transitioned into some other department. And so I'm always saying to people that you're kind of a company of one, even if you're on someone else's payroll. So it's kind of me incorporated. And it really makes a lot of sense for you to always think strategically about your career, even as you're employed. So thinking about, what are my transferable skills? How do I differentiate myself from all the other people that are in the job market, or perhaps just thinking about getting in the job market? I'm often contacted by people that are working, but maybe their job is not as fulfilling as they want it to be, or they think there's a different area that they want to focus on, and so then they're looking and exploring now, how do I make that transition?
So would you say you're always looking for the next job, or just have that plan B ready?
I think that it's both. It could be that you're looking for a different job in the same company. You want to go to another level, you want to be promoted. So I think when you talk about strategy, you always have to have a strategy for continuing to develop yourself and be ready to grow. They always say that, when opportunity knocks, you have to be ready to answer the door. And so I think that's appropriate here.
What about the transition to the executive level, for those who've been at the professional level, say, for a while? What goes into that, and how do you prepare yourself for a move to the executive level?
Well, I think, again, it's understanding your strengths and what contribution you make to the company, and then making sure you understand what the company values. I always say to people that you may decide that you want to be an airline pilot, but if your company is not in the airline business, that's probably not going to work out well for you. So you really have to marry your individual goals with the company goals. And when you talk about moving to the executive suite, it's typically understanding that you need to be less transactional and more strategic.
Okay.
Usually when you move to the C-suite, they're looking for people that can think long-term. And not only think long-term, if you have other people reporting to you, how do you enroll them in the vision and really build a high-performance team?
Do you find people make that transition and then realize, you know what, this may not be for me. I may not want to be the strategic. I may like the transactional.
I think that you're starting to see that more when you start talking, especially about the generations in the workplace, because a lot of things come into play from a cultural perspective.
Really?
And so if you're looking at baby boomers who may have always had a desire, some segment of them, to go into the higher levels of a company, what you're seeing more so with the younger generations is that they really not just want their life and work to be integrated, they insist on it. So they don't really plan to work their life away, is one way to say it. And so sometimes moving up the ladder means more time invested at work. And I remember a few years ago, I was in attendance at a panel of millennials and Gen Xers, and one of the people on the panel said, well, I'll just be clear, the reason my husband and I work is because we have very expensive hobbies. And so I think that says it in a nutshell, that their life is not their work. Their work is not their life, and so they insist on both. And so when you talk about going up the ladder, and we've actually had some cases of this in some companies where they have people in a developmental role planning to move them up the ladder, and as they're working with their mentors and seeing the impact of that life on them, they make a different decision.
They say, that's not for me.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly.
We, of course, know the value of networking, and we, of course, know the prevalence of social networking. How are people really finding new jobs these days? Is it a little bit of both?
Well, actually, it's a lot of the social networking, and I sometimes, as a coach, visit with job support groups where people are looking for jobs and try to help them figure out strategies. And what I've noticed is when there are people that, I'm a baby boomer, and so when there are people in my generation, they're used to job hunting in a different way, where you get to go in and interview and sell yourself in person. That doesn't happen as often anymore. You have resume scanning software and all those things, and so if your resume doesn't have, if the format is not friendly to that resume scanning software, it may never be seen by an interviewer, and that's frustrating for probably the more mature generations, whereas I know with some of the younger generations, they're accustomed to doing videos. I heard of someone that was interviewing for Google, and they required them to do a video and send it to them as their first, they didn't even want a paper resume.
Wow.
They wanted a video, which the younger generation can do in just a couple of minutes.
Right.
But for someone in my generation, that might be really, really difficult for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just the thought,
Impossible.
like their head explode.
Impossible.
Any particular one big mistake that you see people making when it comes to strategic career planning or making that move? What would you say that is?
I think the biggest mistake is, there was a book that I love the title, and it was Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. And I think the key to that is don't wait until you need a job before you start networking and figuring out who you need to be in front of, who you need to know, and who needs to know you, because then it's kind of too late. And you're much more attractive when you're working, many times, than when you're desperate, because that's hard for people to manage, to really have that upbeat personality when sometimes they're feeling a little overwhelmed and discouraged because they're looking for a job after perhaps working for one company for a long time and not having, so have a current resume is the first thing, resume or bio or both. And then have a really good network. You don't want to be in a situation where you're asking people that haven't heard from you in forever, and you're showing up and saying,
"Can you help me?"
Exactly. You're showing not as "Can you help me?" It's very specific. Can you help me get a job? And they don't know what's been going on in your career in more recently, so they really don't feel comfortable recommending you because they aren't as familiar with your skills and what you've been doing recently.
Very good advice. Website is rightchoicegroup.com. That's right?
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time. Great advice and good things to think about. Thank you very much. The job search can be intimidating for seniors, as we've been talking about, especially those who've been out of the job market for a while, and they're now confronted with technology they may not be comfortable with. Tony Cornett has some tips now from Irving's Heritage Senior Center.
It's no secret employment has hit challenging times in recent years. It's as difficult for seniors as it is for anyone. In these times when they're saying hire them young, hire them trainable, and hire them inexpensively, where do seniors fit in? We're back here at the Heritage Senior Center to take a look.
The name of the game today, regardless of age, is that you have your ducks in a row and know exactly what you're selling. You're selling yourself, but to be able to say that like that.
What today's session lacks in attendance, it's only the first time this has been offered here, is more than made up for in valuable information about what it takes to be over 50 and looking for work.
I think a lot of people just are outdated in their approach, looking in the newspaper and not online.
Claire Turner says seniors should know the job market does have a place for them.
Generally, they're the hardest working people and the greatest talent out there. And we are hearing that from employers. So we know that employers are seeking seniors, and we are seeing an uptick in opportunities for seniors. So we're excited about that.
I really accomplished most of the things for which I set out to do, and now I'm looking for something else.
This senior spent a career in education, and she knows that connecting with people is one of her strengths.
I want to do something where I can have interpersonal relationships with other people. I'd like to do something in a helping profession. And this is my first experience. This has been really good for me.
Claire emphasizes that looking for work is a full-time job in itself and requires knowing some key things. Among them, how to craft an effective resume, how to use technology in the job search, practicing your pitch to potential employers, and how to exude confidence. This senior has one of the very best tools anyone could have as he looks for work.
Oh, it was a fantastic day for me today. And you see, whole existence means work. Without work, there can be no life. Life is nothing but work. And work at the same time is a great fun.
Talk about a positive, confident attitude. For a lot more on how seniors can succeed in today's job marketplace, contact the Senior Source. It's located at 3910 Harry Hines Boulevard in Dallas. And of course, check with the Heritage Center too for the next scheduled senior employment session there. Tony Cornett for InVision Irving.
All people looking for jobs can take advantage of a new resource. The Chamber of Commerce launched hireirving.com. It's updated as new openings become available across the city. Positions that give special consideration to veterans are highlighted. Again, that site is hireirving.com. Now to some of the economic wins the City of Irving and Chamber of Commerce are celebrating. We begin at the Courtyards of Roses apartment complex. Tony Cornett talked with the owner about why he wanted to make a huge reinvestment in that property.
We're at Courtyards of Roses Apartments, formerly known as Rosewood Village, where this rose by a new name is smelling a lot sweeter these days. Major redevelopment has been underway for over a year and is now just about complete. Time to cut the ribbon and celebrate with dignitaries and business leaders from the Irving Chamber. That's Alex Steinberg with the scissors. He's the new owner since May of last year. He says that for his team to take this complex of 224 units built back in 1972 to where it is today requires vision, a couple of $1 million, and a great partnership with the City of Irving.
It's coupled with the city coming in and saying, upon a transfer of ownership, they come in and do a full analysis. And so we worked hand in hand with the city to really truly identify all the areas that we knew needed to be done. And we completed it all with a certain time frame in coordination with the city.
It's a ton of work to renovate and update inside and out a complex like this. From the foundation up, just about every aspect of resident life here has seen an upgrade. Some things are especially appreciated.
When they installed our outdoor kitchen, that was the big thing because it's so cool first off, and they were able to do grilling with the kids and things like that. They love this. This pool area is the family oriented. Everybody will bring their food out here together. They all cook together. Everybody just mingles together, and it's just a really family-oriented property.
Demand for apartments is booming. That means it makes a lot of sense to take an older complex like this, put in the time and the money, improve it, and then it turns into great places for people to live. It's a great proposition for the ownership, and it does great things for the appearance of the city.
With people moving to this region, the influx of population growth, job growth here, people need places to live. The apartment industry has done very well, and when you have an asset that looks better than the competition around it, the theory is you're going to see a lot of benefit as well.
Beverly Mask sees the benefits. She's lived here more than 30 years.
Well, I've been here since '81. I've seen a big change in these apartments, but it's been an extra change since the new manager took over. He did some improvement. He took the carpet out, gave us hardwood floor, everything that's black in the kitchen. I mean, everything that he did was new in the new apartment.
Touring the model unit really shows off what Beverly's talking about and what Steinberg and management have done with the potential for updated, efficient, and attractive living. An updated fitness facility is part of the improvements too. Outside, where there was no grass or landscaping, lush greenery is back. But this day is about showing off all this hard work and garnering some well-deserved recognition from the Irving Chamber and the state. A rose by any other name in this case is an entire courtyard of roses. Tony Cornett for InVision Irving.
Improvements are also complete at Kroger on South MacArthur Boulevard in Irving. A celebration attracted city leaders.
We've been at our 6th and MacArthur store in South Irving for many years, and we're now have done a facelift. 3, 2,
1, We've been hearing for years where people want to see this area improved, and you've got a business person right now, you've got an entire store that's really listening to them and responding.
Thank all of you guys for all of the hard work you do.
We started working with Kroger, I believe, back in 2009 on enhancing this store, but to make sure that it's meeting the needs of the neighborhood here. They've come a long way. They've been great partners to work with.
Well, this is something that South Irving really needs. Kroger and reinvesting in South Irving, it's positive.
We spent the money in South Irving because we know that the demographics are changing, the neighborhoods are changing, and they needed an updated store.
And I'm happy to see it. Glad the city council made the decisions that we did.
But we're fortunate that we were able to obtain a variance to sell beer and wine so the customers can pick up their beverages. We have 4 stores in the city of Irving, and we're actually remodeling our Beltline store as well.
They just announced a great partnership with Irving ISD, so they're committed to our children and future workforce of Irving.
Haley Elementary School, who is our great partner down the street, $500 in Kroger gift cards.
It shows that the City Council, the City of Irving, and our business partners that we are interested in South Irving.
We are always trying to do what we can, especially in South Irving, to better our neighborhoods, to better the areas. And we've got businesses that are willing to put in quite an investment into increasing the look and feel of their store. I think it benefits everybody.
We're just so excited that we're able to give the store a kind of a facelift and a new look.
Transportation is one of the factors that ties directly to a healthy economy. Businesses need access. That's why Irving leaders participate in the annual Transportation Summit. Thomas Gandy covered that event this year, and it got started in a brand new way.
It's an early morning bike ride on the Campion Trail.
It's just fun to get out and enjoy the trails in Irving.
The riders are leaders representing cities across the region. Irving City Councilman Gerald Ferris is among them.
I think it's great to get some exposure to the Campion Trail in the city of Irving.
It's nice and wide, there's lots of shade, and you get to see stuff that you don't get to see from the road.
I do a lot of riding around McKinney, and it's nice to get out into other areas.
They are only going about 10 miles, but on this day, it is more about the cause.
I like the fact that we're promoting that you can cycle as a commuter option. Because cycling is something that will make you healthy, plus it doesn't harm the environment.
Bicycling, I think it's probably one of the hottest topics right now.
Bicycling is a mode of transportation that's come of age. City of Irving's a leader and pioneer there. Dallas, Fort Worth, and many other cities throughout the country have joined in with that.
The end of this ride actually marks the beginning.
This is the kickoff.
The kickoff for Irving's annual Transportation Summit. It covers the spectrum all the way from bicycling to high-speed rail, represented by a new model on display at the Omni Mandalay.
Texas is so perfect for high-speed rail because of our topography and the distance between our major cities, and it works here.
Irving City Council member Rose Kennedy chairs Texas high-speed rail. She believes it's important because highways will only get more congested as the population soars.
You can only pour so much concrete, and you got to find other ways to move them quickly, get them off of the road.
Lack of funding means we will likely only see high-speed rail in model form for a while, but leaders vow to keep working.
I hope it all happens in my lifetime.
There's a big gap between what people are saying throughout the nation. We need this level of funding, and this is what's available.
For all types of projects, Victor Mendez of the Federal Highway Administration says funding is a challenge. He works with President Obama on the issue.
And really, at the end of the day, for all of us, the goal is to get projects moving faster, get them delivered quicker. I have yet to talk to anybody, regardless of party affiliation, that is not in support of a new way of doing business, a better way of doing business, and a better way of delivering on infrastructure.
After his address to the crowd, Mendez talked with supporters and told me that President Obama's proven strong leadership will continue to keep transportation needs in the spotlight.
Transportation for the president, extremely important. Like I said, for 4.5 years, probably longer now, he has been talking about investments in infrastructure, not just in terms of the immediate construction projects that are created by investing today, but really for the future. Looking at the importance, for example, of transportation, how it plays into the future of our economy.
It is the kind of attention and funding that people who attend this annual summit are working for, whether on the rails, roads, or on bikes.
Transportation is the big issue.
Thomas Gandy for InVision Irving.
While big business gets a lot of attention in Irving, there are many more small businesses in the city, all contributing to the economy. Owners and managers learned tips and discovered resources at the Governor's Small Business Forum and Expo at the Irving Convention Center. Our city hosted the forum for the entire region. In addition to checking out the booths in the ballroom, hundreds turned out for the lunchtime speaker. Doug Marshall is a Tyler business owner who won a nearly $500,000 investment on ABC's The Shark Tank. The former copier salesman had an idea after a sports game where he saw fans with runny face paint. He developed an idea to make temporary face tattoos to show support for sports teams or use at Halloween. Before the show aired in January, he was working out of a room above his garage, but now things have taken off.
We are partnered up with Mark and Lori, and Lori's got us in with Disney.
Mark is helping with his team. He's got marketing people and finance people and his legal team that have helped us. What's happened with our company since we've aired is by airing, you've basically won a multi-million-dollar ad campaign. Everybody knows about your company. And it took us just from here to here. And not only nationally, but internationally. I was amazed at how many people around the world watch American television. And we were getting calls immediately after the show. We were getting hits of 10,000 hits per minute on our site. But since then, and I'll wrap it up, we've got about 15 distributors around the world. They were looking at major quantities of pieces for World Cup soccer. And the international market is going to be a bigger market than the U.S. market is for us. We're getting NFL, NBA, NHL. We're adding 60 colleges for our collegiate line.
Marshall says his next step could be putting moisturizing nutrients on the masks to be used as facials. Time now for our good deed. How employees at one of Irving's technology companies made a difference at a local park.
I'm here to volunteer to paint the fences here.
This particular fence in the camping trails here in Irving.
In an effort to beautify the park, or keep it that way anyway.
I work for Nokia.
We make mobile phones, smart devices.
We are based here. Our office here in Texas is based here in Irving.
We love working with corporate teams like Nokia. We see that there's more and more interest in people wanting to give back to the communities where they work and live.
Normally I'd be sitting in the office working with employees and managers, kind of the normal 8 to 5 job, but it's good to get out in the community, get out of the office for a change.
And kind of have like a team building type event where we're also contributing to the city of Irving.
I myself am a user of the trail, so I would love to see that.
I like Irving, although I don't live in Irving, I do work here, and I participate in some of the community events that go on in Irving.
I think it's just fun to be outdoors and sharing.
Well, it's a great feeling.
Keep Irving Beautiful is always looking for other businesses to get involved. Thanks for watching this edition of InVision Irving. Remember, you can see updates on upcoming events by visiting irvingchamber.com. I'm Jolene DeVito. We'll see you next time.